You know, we didn't really discuss the order, so I'm just gonna take it from super sexy. How's that?
Yeah.
All right.
Do it. Yeah,
This
this
thing
thing's
is
awesome to look at.
okay.
Yeah,
I just
go.
have to say that there's rarely a vehicle that comes along that really gets me excited. And the last one I think is going to be the latest generation of the Corvette. Obviously, the Tesla's got some beautiful designs out there, but design beauty in automobiles is just something rare where you might hit that mark, which is adequate power, beautiful body, good all around performance. And it seems like Lotus is going directly after that with the launch of their 2022 Lotus Emira, which,
Mhm.
to be quite frank with you, is not really worthy of being called a Lotus. And I know I'm going to catch some flack for that. And what I mean is, they've gone above and beyond in the car design. This thing looks like the Ferrari killer. Okay, no joke. It now here's the thing. Here's what I'm really excited about. First of all, it's got gorgeous looks. The side profile of this takes from their latest generation supercar. At the same time, they're going to be ditching their entire fleet, so they're going to only offer two models. It's going to be this and their supercar, okay, which I forget the name of it,
Mhm.
but it's kind of taking its keys from that, right? It's actual looks. But the nice part is they're targeting the Porsche. Well, I guess it's the Porsche. What is it? The Cayenne, not the Cayenne. What's the small one, the baby one, the old Boxster with the roof on it. It's Cayenne, right? Yeah, I think so, right? They're going
Yeah,
right after
yeah.
that market at they're looking at a turbocharged 4 producing roughly 340 horsepower or a supercharged 6 which can produce 400 horsepower, and they're going to put it inside of a body style of something that's going to be roughly $80,000. Okay? Now at launch, if
Mhm.
you could do that and make this car come out for that price range here in the United States of America, I think you have an automatic seller because the beauty of the looks of the vehicle itself, okay, just the way the car actually looks is phenomenal.
Mhm.
And look, you're a car guy. What's your feelings on this thing? The beauty of just the outside design and skin.
Yeah, so looking at stuff like this, first off, Lotus has some great lines. Usually, they always like how classic a Lotus looks. It's cool. It's really nice to see that this is going to come in at like 70 to
Hmm.
80,000. So it's going to be something that won't be, as we said, super car range. That's going to be so expensive like crazy. I mean, you mentioned cars that really excite you. That Rimac, the Nevera that had all that crazy technology. That stuff excites me. The tech, the pushing the boundaries of
Right.
the tech that can enable cars to do things. But obviously, there is something to be said for me about being a car guy that just looking at older kind of classic designs that don't have all the tech. It's kind of plain, kind of simple. It's just a car that just is its purest form as a car, a sports car you want to drive, and that's a lot of Lotuses kind of give that
Right.
me that feeling. Going down through this article, I'm looking for some specs that kind of back up how nice this will be. I'm looking down here. The only thing we know about weight is they said they don't have any detailed weights beyond the claim that the lightest version will be
Oh,
3,097, so under 3,100
right.
pounds. Um, and I'm looking, basic wheelbase. It looks like it's going to be kind of a nimble little car that's gonna be pretty awesome. And as far as the lines, like you said, it looks really good too. If you're into Lotuses, you may also remember some of the earliest Teslas were built off of
Yes, it's also true.
Roadster.
Yeah.
And so the backside of this new Lotus reminds me a lot of what the new Tesla Roadster
Hmm.
would look like. I'm not saying anything other than that because it was just happenstance. I don't know. I don't know anything else other than that. But they both look quite appealing, and yeah, this car's
It's
something
gorgeous.
definitely to keep an eye on because it's
Well, look,
super
I mean,
cool.
look,
Yeah.
the best part, I think the best part of this entire thing is that they're going after the right numbers, right? And when I mean the right numbers, what I'm saying is what James just said in chat is that
Hmm.
they've got a
Yeah.
Toyota
Yeah.
sourced V6 supercharged, which means the thing is going to be virtually bulletproof, right? They're not going for
Hmm.
supersonic horsepower ratings here, so it's going to be drivable.
Hmm.
And the nice part is it's going to be right
Yes.
at the price point where you're gonna actually look at it as an affordable entry into the exotic sports car market and be
Exactly.
somewhere not in the same place as say a Porsche just pulling up in your Cayman and being like, oh, okay, great, right? Like your
Hmm.
Cayman Turbo S.
Yep.
So that's
Yeah, literally at
yeah,
70,000, you could go for like a decent Corvette or a Lotus.
right,
It depends
right.
on your style. And honestly, don't get me wrong, I love Corvettes. this intrigues me. I'd be like, well, you
I'd be
know,
hard pressed if you
I don't
said,
know.
"Hey, look, you could get this or a new R8, right? Or something like a lower grade, maybe, I don't know, Lamborghini." This to me is more appealing because A, it's not a fortune to own or operate, which is number one.
Yeah,
Number two,
yeah.
it well, I'm gonna go to B, not number two. Number two, it's a GT, right? It's a GT category car, which means it's not gonna be a track day monster, which I'm sure you could probably
Mhm.
track day it all, if you wanted to, but it looks like it's going to be more for, comfortable cruising everywhere.
Something that you could
Yes.
drive. And this thing invokes the term a
Yes.
driver's car for
Yeah.
the road, right? There are driver's cars for the road that are sporty enough on the road that you can drive them
Hmm.
every day and they're a pleasure to drive. I think this would fall on there. And of course, you got all of the hypercars and track cars and cars that are obviously amazing at what they do, but they're practically purpose-built
Sure.
race cars that you can drive on the street if you had the cash. I feel like this is going to be the former, a nice driver's car that isn't going to break. Well, 70,000 is not cheap. Don't get me wrong, but it's something that if you've got the range to spend, you'd be like, it's definitely a contender.
I would almost go as far as to say is this is what the NSX should have been this time around, because when the Acura NSX came
Yeah.
out many years ago, right? And that was their real focus on having a halo car that wasn't going to be super expensive. It was going to have a sourced V6 that was just going to be a driver's car. This is more of what
Hmm.
Lotus has kind of taken a page from Honda on and said, look, we need a car that's more attractive, but the looks, right? When you're talking about the looks for this dollar for dollar value, you couldn't do this unless you were a major company like the size of Honda back in the late 90s, because the resources just weren't there in manufacturing materials and getting that profile of this vehicle. The fact that they'd be able to deliver this at that level today just speaks of the volumes, how much cars have advanced over the past couple of years, I think. Just saying.
Hmm. I'm trying to see if it's going to be a manual or not. Did you find
I
that or not?
think I don't know. I'd have to look and see if there's going to be a manual.
The quote down here, no chance for a hybrid.
Mhm.
Fine.
That's fine.
That means that the Emira will be a manual with a manual gearbox will be a limited one, as the stick shift will only be offered on the
There you go.
V6. Doesn't it have a V6 in it?
Well, I think the way that you would really want this to be optioned anyhow, if you're going to go top of the line, right? The V6, basically, they're saying here it's the one from the X side. You're looking at 360 horsepower for the four cylinder, or 400 for the V6. However, I would imagine
Mm.
that the 400 horsepower version will probably have maybe a little bit more thrown in there as far as differential, traction control, and other selling points that usually come with a S or some sort of model with a bigger engine. I don't know. So,
Yep.
but the nice part is it's also going to have adaptive cruise control, lane departure warning, automated emergency brakes, roadside informations. So they're putting more into this. So if you remember, the older Lotuses that were kind of the smaller versions didn't have a lot of those creature comforts built in, and this
Hmm.
one has
Yeah,
definitely got
exactly.
into that creature comfort market.
Yep.
So,
Yep. That daily drivability, which is going to
mm,
definitely appeal. And I mean, I just saw also, I don't know if you already mentioned this, but that that 2-liter four-cylinder turbo that we talked about, that's an
yep,
AMG engine.
one of the
So,
AMG engines that I think we can't get, but there's a lot of them in their hot hatch
mhm,
area over there. And right
mhm.
now, they're presuming the V6 of this will go 0 to 60 in about 4.5 seconds and have about 180-mile-an-hour top speed, which basically is, what else do you need on today's roads, right?
I'm with you, man. I mean, yeah,
Sure, we
I
all
like it a
sweat the
lot.
look. We all sweat the plaid, right? But I can't do a quarter mile in
Well,
9
yeah, but
seconds anywhere legally. And a 0 to 60.
yeah, and daily thinking you're going to be
Yeah,
safe
no,
every
you're not
time.
gonna be able to do that. So James also said they didn't have any creature comforts in them. No, none of them did, the early Lotuses. So,
Yeah, yeah, it's just
all right.
straight car with engine. I mean, it drove
So
great,
this is
but
my new 2020 Drool car. It would be if I had $70,000 in my pocket, would I go in and get this, or would I go in and get a new Corvette? And it would be literally, I'd have to.
it's this for me, honestly. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't, like I said, Corvette. I love Corvettes. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think I'd want to see this how it turns out when it's
Hmm.
actually out. How it drives. How people like it, how it drives. This would be something. I know some people have said on the channel before. It would be nice if you guys could do car reviews. How amazing would it be to do a review on
Ooh, that would
this
be
car?
nice. That'd be very nice. We'll see. Maybe, hey, if you guys grow us to the point where we could go off and fly every air taxi and drive every new sports car, that would be a benefit to all of us. Mostly just us, though. But that would be great for us.
Well, we could bring you, our take on all this cool stuff we talk about, but we could show you.
And on
show
that
you
note,
stuff.
we actually have new camera equipment that's just